Hey ladies, have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, this body just doesn't look like mine anymore? It's not the body that you have felt like yourself in. Maybe before you had babies, or before you started using food for comfort, or before you started dieting and restricting, which often leads to binging, or maybe just before you stopped having enough time for yourself to exercise or prepare healthy meals. I've even heard this described by one mom as the exact same feeling that she gets when she's had a bad haircut that just doesn't suit her. That's exactly how she had felt walking around in her body and her clothes for over 4 years since becoming a mom. And I can definitely relate, both about my body and about my bad hair. I once had a mullet and then I permed it. Who does that? Yeah, the 80s were good to me. But here's what I want you to know if this is something that you struggle with. If you feel disgusted rather than confident when you look in the mirror, I want you to know that you are not alone. First of all, 91% of women feel this way. You're not alone. And also, I have some refreshing information to share with you here today that I think you maybe haven't heard before, and that may actually help you to start turning that around right away. But first, who the hell am I? And why would you even listen to me? I am Kimberly Record. I am a registered holistic nutritionist and a body love coach, and also the author of the women's self-help book, Finding Your Forever Body, a 10-step guide to breaking the diet cycle for good. And I know at first glance, I don't maybe look like somebody who's struggled with food or body image. I've even heard some people tell me before that I can't possibly understand what it's like to not feel good enough in my body because I clearly don't have a weight problem. But I do understand, and I can relate very vividly. It's what led me to write my book. From the time that I was 17 years old, my body image ruled my life. At that age, I was rejected by a big-time modeling agency for being overweight. I was 137 pounds on almost a 5'9" frame, and they wanted me to be no more than 125 pounds. So what that led me on was a 10-year cycle, a really vicious diet cycle, of being obsessed with the scale and with diets and trying to find that ideal diet solution that would help me to get to the number that I was told I needed to reach to be successful. And what was funny, well, not so funny, but was that the more that I dieted, the more that I obsessed, the more I actually saw the scale go up rather than in the direction I wanted to go, which really perpetuated this vicious diet cycle. And it wasn't until many years later, over a decade later, when I was studying holistic nutrition and I discovered the key mental and emotional shifts that I needed to have to be able to develop sustainable habits around food and exercise, that I was finally able to feel light, grounded, and confident in my body again. But the best part for me was not the physical transformation, surprisingly enough. The best part was that with the energy and confidence that I gained, I was actually able to develop a level of fulfillment in my life that I had only ever dreamed of before. And now I get to help women do the same, to develop that level of energy, confidence, and fulfillment in their lives too. Which brings me back to why I made this video. One of the most important things that I learned in my journey is that we are constantly being lied to. We're being lied to by media, by marketers, even by medical professionals. And in fact, we have been lied to so many times that we've actually come to believe the lies. And the biggest lie that 91% of women have bought into, just like I had, is that we should want to lose weight. But think about this for a second. This information, we're not choosing to absorb this information, it's just being thrown at us. We're being bombarded with messages everywhere that are telling us, you know, if you could just lose the weight, then everything's gonna be okay. And even doctors do this to us, right? We can go in to see them for any concern, but if our BMI, our body mass index, is just a little too high, then weight loss is the answer. And then we're left feeling like we are the problem. And unfortunately, as a society, we've even come to equate success with losing weight. We give people kudos and compliments when they've lost weight, and yet if they have stuff going on, like really good success in other areas of their lives, but maybe still a little bit overweight, we can tend to reduce that success in our minds. And don't tell me you haven't done that. The worst part is that we end up measuring our success and our worth by our appearance more than anything else. And guess what? When we do this, we're never going to feel successful enough or worthy enough because external standards are impossible to meet. And I learned this the hard way. And then I discovered the incredible difference that it made when I actually learned to set and live by my own standards, which came from first getting clear on how I wanted to feel, not how much I wanted to weigh. I can assure you that if you want to lose weight, it's because you believe that losing weight is a direct path to the feelings that you crave in your life. And how could you not believe this? I mean, look at all the smiling faces in the after pictures of the diet and fitness ads. It's not your fault. But if you really take a moment to ask yourself why you want to lose the weight, there are some things you might discover. For example, you may discover that you just want to feel more confident or feel accepted, or maybe have permission to do things that you don't feel like you currently have permission to do while you're overweight. So the question really to ask yourself, now that you have this awareness, is how do I want to feel? Like, imagine that you're at that ideal weight where you're totally happy with your body. Imagine what you would be feeling. Because here's the thing, the number on the scale, on the dress tag, the tape measure, the number isn't really the goal. The feeling is. So the first thing you need to do to take back control over your body and your health is to completely forget about the number for now. And I know this is a hard thing to do because you have been lied to your entire life, but please allow me to remove the veil for a moment. Because there is another lie that you've been sold, and that is that your body is a separate thing in your life, that your body is the goal, and that it's separate from all your other life goals. But I'm here to tell you that your body is actually part of the whole and that you can use it to achieve many goals in your life. It is not the goal, but it's the vehicle that will actually allow you to achieve many goals that you want in your life, goals that actually have meaning and could give you real satisfaction and fulfillment and joy and happiness in your life. The exact same feelings that you originally wanted to lose weight for. So here's what I'm going to do for you. Now that I've removed the veil, I want you to walk away with a clear plan of action so that you can start to make the shifts in your life that will allow you to finally feel the way you really want to feel and then get the results that you're really looking for in your health. So I've created a 3-part video series for you to help you really integrate this information into your life. It is absolutely free, and if this is something that you struggle with, I encourage you to download this right away and you can start to make these shifts immediately in your life. In the first video, I reveal for you why conventional weight loss advice and diets really don't work. And I think you're going to find some relief in finding out that it has nothing to do with you or your willpower, and that there's nothing wrong with you when you can't just do something so simple as eat less and move more. And in the second video, I'm going to share the #1 thing you can do that will completely change the game for you. It is the exact step that I took just over 10 years ago that launched me into a new way of being with my body that allowed me to finally transform my health for good. And in the third video, I will share with you the #1 key to sustaining results over the long term so that you never need to go back to square one ever again. So if it feels like I am speaking directly to you, if you have struggled with being on this vicious diet cycle for many years and you just feel like you're done, you want a different way, go ahead and sign up for this free video series and you'll get immediate access to it so that you can start feeling the energy and confidence and fulfillment that you truly crave and deserve. Now, I look forward to connecting more with you and to joining you on your journey to feeling light, grounded, and confident in your body again.